Remind me, because I will forget.
Yeah. What's it called?
The S factor, because they're superhuman. What?
I thought it was the F. F?
X-Men.
Cody,
the
stop
X
talking
gene.
about your ex, dude. Jesus. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast, where we review the first volume of a brand new manga each week. My name is Josh Mummy Michaels, and today, as always, I am joined by...
Mehgan, Undead Perrine.
Cody, name unknown Decker.
Thank you, watching and listening, for tuning in to another episode of Volume 1. Today, we are discussing Volume 1 of Ajin, who knows?
Adjacent.
All things
That's good. There's
adjacent. This is a volume that, or a series rather, that seems to be very popular. It's something we've seen in our Barnes & Noble trips quite frequently. The cover's always grabbed our eye, but I don't think either of us or any of us knew anything about the series. We read it. I have some thoughts. It's a series that has an anime adaptation that's all 3D. I don't know why they keep doing that. And a live action movie. And the manga itself just ended this year as of this recording in 2021, February 2021. But I guess because of a comment that we got recently, I should read the synopsis first before I ask you guys your thoughts on it. So I have the synopsis pulled up here. For those of you who don't know, Ajin, which is what I will be calling it for the remainder of the episode, is about a high school student who discovers that he is Ajin, a demi-human being.
Rough start right now.
Did it?
Just before summer vacation, a Japanese high school student is instantly killed in a traffic accident on his way home from school. However, he is revived, and a price is placed on his head.
Ooh.
And I think that's a pretty good synopsis. Doesn't give too much away. Now, before I tell you how I felt about the series, Cody, Mehgan, what did you know about this, and how did you feel about it?
I knew nothing about it. I thought it had a rough start. A little cliche things happen. It had a thing that I thought like that was funny, but like it wasn't supposed to be funny. It's just a little quirk I liked in the start. And I thought it ended on a strong note.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the beginning was like, is this a manhwa? Is this like a web comic?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because to me, in that first chapter, and by the way, the mangaka, Mehgan did some research and let me know before we started recording. The mangaka, the writer, is the same writer of High Rise Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this was before or after. Do you know?
I don't. I would assume maybe after, because High Rise Invasion is, it's a new anime. I don't know when it came out or like what was published or anything.
But it's just funny that you say that, Cody, because to me, in that first chapter, the writing felt not good. The actual like dialogue and
that's what I mean by rough.
Yeah, I mean it was, and I get what you mean by funny, because it was just like some of the things that these characters were saying were just like absurd things for humans to say to each other.
Specifically, first panel, which when I was like, okay, whatever this turns into, I think I'm going to enjoy the experience, because the first panel is just location and date unknown, and it get like you know when you get like to set the scene, you know when movies do that and stuff. And I was like, oh, thank you. Oh, cool. Now I know, thanks to this little font here, that I don't know where this takes place or when.
Yeah,
that really helps me set the scene.
Yeah, it was a really jam-packed first volume, and not saying like, oh, it was like so flowed so effortlessly. Like, no, it was like, I mean, it was easy to read getting through it, but there was a lot of dialogue. They were trying to set so many things up way too quickly. Like, we didn't need all that in the first volume to hook me from reading it, because I was already like, oh, you know, like the world and how they treat Ajins and like the government, like it just went way too a paragraph like explaining everything. It's like, I don't need this right now.
Too much exposition up front. Too much too soon. A little reminded me a lot of Solo Leveling, the way they're like, you know, oh, he's the weakest, the way it's like, oh, you're an Ajin, you know what that, and I'm like, well, how do they look exactly the same? So,
you know, this could be a nitpick too, but you know, there's everybody in this world is so hung up on the fact that these Ajin or these demi-humans aren't human. However, they come from families they're born into human families, yet no one ever at any point questions their parents, or they question them based on our main character's location and ask them about their whereabouts, but they never like, you'd think, I don't know.
There'd be a stigma. Oh, you gave birth to a demi-human. You're probably one.
Yeah, you got that demi-human blood in you.
Yeah, the
You think-
mom's like, I'm blaming this all on you. I don't even know how you got here. It's like,
And he's
what
like,
do you
I'm only
mean?
demi-human. Don't put the blame on me.
Don't
He
put the
worked it
blame.
in.
I worked
He
it
worked
in.
it in
I
again.
did it. Once again, I have done it.
Yeah, I mean, and the art, Megan, I know you were talking before we started recording, so I'll let you talk about the art because I feel like our opinions on it
are different. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I liked how cute it was. It was, I don't know. It just really like, I gravitated towards it. Like the eyes in some points with that one girl character that we meet later, like the cop or whatever. Like that whole panel like really was like, oh, that's sick. Like I really did like it.
Yeah. See, there are manga that inevitably there will be one or two, really great panels that just look amazing and really have the artist talent on full display. And this is drawn and written by two separate people. But to me, the art also just seemed I was underwhelmed by, not to disparage, another artist, but being an artist myself, amateur though, amateur.
Yeah.
No, there were panels where it did look amazing, but I would say that for the most part, it wasn't something that I liked. I would say a style that I liked.
I feel like the art also kind of came more into being in the later chapters.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like with the cop and like when you see the Ajin actually appear, it's like, oh, that's where it's using the medium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's crazy because the design of that being, that demi-human, is amazing. And the covers, I do want to say that the covers are beautiful. And the covers alone are enough to sell me on the series. However, the art inside to me felt a little lackluster and it didn't feel as, refined. And, art is, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Everybody has a different preference, things that they like and don't like. And so I do think that it is a style that a lot of people will find something to like about it or will enjoy it. But for me personally, I just didn't like it.
It seemed serviceable, and then there would be a couple panels like, there we go.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, and outside, like I guess as the volume as a whole, Cody, you did say too that it felt like it wrapped up nicely, or the whole volume ended up being good, you would say, or felt full, you would say. And Megan, you were saying it felt like they were trying to cram a lot.
I think the first chapter was the worst part. I like if I just read the first chapter, I'd be like, no, that's not going to be
really
for me.
bad.
And then like
It's really bad.
it also like reading it felt like it went by pretty fast.
Yeah.
It did not feel like it was dragging on at the same time. And they kept mentioning like that doesn't mean like as blah blah blah. Okay, yeah. And then like towards like the last two chapters, like I think everything's like come together now. And then you end on like, where do we go from here?
I like, did you read chapter 0 by any chance?
No.
Oh, I think I like that storyline a little more.
Yeah, it was crazy because, I didn't read chapter 0
Oh.
either. So I do think it's something that we can talk about. I don't know what's in chapter 0 or who it follows, but
Is it like a prequel about the cop character?
No, it's not involving any of the characters.
Oh.
It's just like two separate characters
Really?
in their own like storyline. And it's pretty interesting. But I mean, there's not like too much to talk about. It started on a funny note of just like you realizing like this guy gets in this car accident and his first thought is like not like, oh, I almost died. Like he's like, I have to cover up that I'm Ajin now that I survived. Like, how am I gonna do this? And he finds like his arm on the floor. He's like, oh, okay, I have to get this. They're gonna know I'm one, so I have to keep this under wraps, under mummy wraps, under Ajin wraps. Yeah, I took it too far.
Yeah,
And then he
they
just
let
goes,
you have it.
he goes back to his house and he's like stressing out and he doesn't know what to do. And then he wants to tell his friend, but he can't. And then he ends up being found out by this like group of people. And they're like, you're coming with us. And they're like, the reveal is them carrying his head from the accident. And he was like, how did I not get my head? How did I not realize it regenerated? And it was like really like a really cool reveal.
That sounds way more interesting than
Yeah.
anything I read in the first volume.
And then his friend ends up like, I mean, spoilers for chapter 0, I guess, right off the, I don't know if you're going to read
Just
it.
say
Because
it.
it's different. But he ends up sacrificing himself for him, and then it just goes from there, and that's it.
Oh,
That's it.
I do think
Because there's no other story.
That
Like,
seems
it's
like
only
a-
chapter 0.
that seems like a great introduction.
Yeah.
So
to the world, to the powers, to how
'Cause
to
I
their-
thought it
twist,
was-
a one chapter twist reveal to like
Mhm.
set up something, not twist, but like reveal to set. Yeah, that'd probably be a better way to start the story off instead of like, oh no.
yeah,
And
and,
it-
I got my boy
go
with
ahead,
me
Mehgan.
though.
And it just explained everything like that. Like, I don't know if that was supposed to be. I don't know. I mean, chapter 0, I don't think it doesn't have anything to do with the story, just introducing like what Ajins are. It's very like, oh, if they capture me, I'm going to get experimented on and not die. And then like how I can regenerate, that they do show the twisty, black ghost thing. So it was cool.
The twisty black ghost thing, otherwise known as the Ajin, the title of the manga.
or the twisty black, ghost thing.
It's like
Because they're like
you're
called
struggling with the word.
because they're called Ajins, right? Like the human forms.
Right. Who
But
knows
then-
what those, who knows what those shadow people are called?
They're called black ghosty twisty things.
Right. That's
I
canon.
see.
That was in chapter 0.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, you guys didn't read that,
they
so you
call
wouldn't
that
know.
Twisty black ghosty thing.
Yeah, it's pretty canon.
But what's crazy is that I don't really feel connected to the main
Wrist
character
crack.
after reading the first volume. However, there are, I feel, interesting characters in the first volume. I have one nitpick that I'm curious to see if either one of you
Mhm.
share. But the interesting characters for me were in the other 2 Ajin that were introduced to about midway through the volume, and their story and the mystery that surrounds them, or the origin of their abilities,
Mhm.
or how they came to like learn how to use them, or what they're capable of doing. That was all really interesting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I think it should have started on chapter 0 and then cut to that part and the
Yeah.
main character, because I liked his friend more than I
I
the main
liked his
character.
friend. His friend was
Yeah, his friend's
goated.
cool.
Yeah, his friend was
Yeah.
goated
Yeah.
for sure. I did kind of
I
like
think he's
him.
got frosted tips too, and that's
Yeah,
that's a
he's
plus.
he's sick, and
Yeah.
he's got smiley face earrings and like a
Yeah, he's
smiley
super
face fit.
and like, yeah, why were people calling him a freak, dude? That was so aggressive.
Yeah, he just had dyed hair.
He looked way cooler than
Any of
anybody.
them. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That's probably why they're making fun of him. They're jealous.
Isn't dyeing in your hair a sign of delinquency
Mhm.
over there?
Yeah, but you call him a delinquent. Don't call him a freak.
Maybe it was a translation issue.
The freak on a leash?
I don't know if there was a translation
Mm.
issue. There was another thing that was said later, and I was like, why would they choose that word to say of all words? But we'll get there. We'll get there.
I did like him. I did like the main character. What's his name? Nagai K.
I can tell you what you need to know.
Nagai K. I liked how he was like towards the end using that big brain. Like, okay, if I go here, if I use this transportation, like towards the end of the volume when he's trying to figure out what to do, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like how he's like using this, like the knowledge, kind of like Tokyo Ghoul, where he's like, he knows what's been said or like taught to him, so he could like apply it to what he is now.
Yeah, that would also be an issue. I'm like, I am thinking of Tokyo Ghoul when I'm reading it. I'm like, man, I had so much fun with Tokyo Ghoul.
The first volume of Tokyo Ghoul was fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's the different direction of like introducing you to the main character before the thing kicks off, as opposed to like the motorcycle chase, and now
Yeah.
they're gonna kill you 100 times over. I'm like,
Yeah, and I
I hope
don't
that
know.
doesn't happen.
I don't know
Getting
exactly-
killed 100 times.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly.
Remember that happened to you?
I remember. It sucked.
Yeah.
There are differences for sure, but I don't know why I felt so much more connected to like Kaneki. I don't know. Tokyo Ghoul just did everything I think so much better than this. I also hate, and this is my nitpick, I hate when there's a detective character that has like just a quirk that seems like, and I'm sure they allude to maybe.
Oh,
there
the
is a-
mints?
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. Oh, I think that
I was
might
under-
be.
I was under the impression they were actually pills for
Yeah,
Probably,
I
but
thought
he
they
gave
were.
some to the girl too, and I think maybe that were they like Ajin suppressants? I don't know.
something. Yeah, well,
Maybe.
she was one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And you
Oh,
know,
spoilers.
and I thought
Oh.
for the first volume.
well, she was one of the boys.
She was one of the
'cause
boys, so she
on-
got a mint.
Yeah.
Well, she was one of the boys, which was why she was always,
Huh?
taking those.
Mints?
I get the implication, and
Right.
we have to move on now.
I don't know if you do.
I get it.
Okay.
Unless it's I'm thinking something worse, and you meant something more innocent. But
I don't get it.
We're moving on. Thank you for being here.
I saw them like, yeah, I get it, because I have a mint problem.
You have a gum. Yeah,
I have a gum
spearmint problem.
Yeah, wintergreen to be exact.
Wintergreen. My apologies.
Spearmint's like, but wintergreen. Yeah, I had to quit.
Yeah.
Chewing gum.
Yeah, that's his sin.
My dark past.
That's your nicotine. That's your alcohol. That's your.
It sounds funny to say, but if I buy a pack of gum, I will eat the whole pack with like tears in my eyes, being like, I can't stop doing this.
Yeah, and I've been around him when he's been chewing gum, and he'll spit it out. Probably, if I'm not being hyperbolic, 3 minutes you'll spit it out.
That's fair,
because it's lost all its flavor to him.
But you haven't seen, yeah,
and he'll pop a new one in,
and then I pop another one, and I'm like, well, I should pop 2 in this time.
Yeah,
and then by the end of it, I have a mouthful of mint, and I'm like, why can't I?
Mouthful of mint and nowhere to put it. You know?
Story of my life, boy.
I don't know, man. I mean, look, did this story have some good things about it? Yes. Was it a very easy read? Yes. Overall, did I really enjoy it? No.
I think
really, I thought it was at least like, I mean, like obviously there's a lot of words and a lot of explaining, but towards the end I was like, I was thoroughly, I guess, entertained. Like it wasn't like horrible. It wasn't like a dragging on type of read. Like
definitely not that.
No. It was definitely fast, and I don't know. I wouldn't mind like continuing it because I have hopes. Okay, you and my I have a little hope that it could get better.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. 'Cause it does feel like a first. I don't know if the negative input, but it felt like this was their first project.
The mangaka did like a hentai thing, and then the writer
did High Rise, which is a Netflix adapted into an anime.
And I really like the art, so
well, yeah,
I might check out their other works, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, the hentai artists.
Yeah, right. When they're because it's like you see them like unrestrained.
Don't back down.
Yeah. Don't fucking back down.
Don't back down.
Oh, we have to mark. Yeah, okay.
But I don't know. Yeah, it feels like the writing and art gets better as it goes on. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, let me see. It seems like something like if I could jump in like 3 volumes just to see where it's at, so I know that there is a progression. I like that.
There's like 17 volumes.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I really want to, stick this one out? And there's so many other things I could be reading. That's another thing.
That's really truly what it is, and I think that is the beauty of Volume 1 is that a first volume, and we've said it before, should be a great sales pitch for your series. And with so many other great series out there, and in a field that's very competitive, you got to grab the reader with your first volume. You should hopefully strive to do that. And I just feel like this volume did not grab me, and there are so many other things that we have stopped that I would much rather continue.
I forget things that I enjoy sometimes. Where I'm like, oh yeah, I completely put that on the back burner until we get
20th Century Boys.
20th Century Boys, Tokyo
our
Revengers,
first
Witch
and
Hat
only
Atelier.
Volume 1 stamp of approval.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Pluto. I mean,
we thought that was going to become a thing. It turns out
that
was
it.
I mean, it's fun. I still like it.
Yeah, it's just only,
no, but it's like we haven't found anything.
We only did it.
That's deserving.
I think there was one time I was like, "Do you guys want?" I was like, "No, I don't like it." I don't know. I think like my criteria for like the first volume being entertaining is enough for me to be like, oh, what happens? And that's why I think like in the last chapters it like got to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But then I saw the live action. Honestly, that looks pretty good, and I think I'm gonna check out the live action.
Yeah, it looks very Venom-esque, and it looks
like not worried about why I'm attracted to it.
Well, I mean, I feel like everybody who knows you knows why you're attracted to it.
Knock knock.
Knock, man, you're not gonna squeeze in both of your songs.
Knock knock.
Both of your vices.
Okay. Yeah, both of your theme songs in here.
Songs.
But the live action looks great. The live action looks great, but I mean, I can't even really imagine a world where I watch that either. But anyway, I do think that it has some good points, and I do think there are some good things in this first volume, so maybe we should start going through it. It starts with our main character, who is, and this is, I really want to spend time figuring out exactly those lines of dialogue that were just so out of place. Main character with his group of friends walking down the street, going, I'm assuming, to school, and they're hyping him up because he's going to be a doctor, which apparently seems to give him permission to be just an asshole and to call his childhood friend a freak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna be a doctor. I mean, you call me much worse things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And you're not a doctor.
I'm not
And you're not a doctor.
I could be maybe the doctor.
No.
Oh, no.
I could be. I'm just saying.
Well, to be fair, you could be. You just aren't.
It could be, but I also maybe I don't want to be. Maybe because those shoes are too big to fill.
Yeah, you got small shoes.
Well, I don't got small shoes, but the doctor just has really big ones. You know.
So, yeah, the freak, and that's one of those words. You're always like, is that a stand-in for another word that just doesn't translate 1-to-1?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was the word freak, and it was also just other things that they were saying. Like they were speaking to each other, and it just felt like they were characters in a story speaking story at each other.
Yeah, very artificial.
Yeah.
It felt
even like the mom and like the sister, like it was just like,
yeah,
there's no
And
feelings.
I hope you don't die soon in a car crash because the future's looking great for you.
Yeah, and then even in the, when they finally get to class and there's the scene where the teacher is explaining the demi-humans to them and their relationship, the humans' relationship with demi-humans and how they came to discover their existence and how the world has changed since
That's
that
not a high
discovery.
school class lesson. That's like an elementary school lesson.
Yeah, it's also
Reminds me of another work I like that handles exposition better.
What?
Kuro.
Kuro, what I loved about it, are you talking about like in its mystery and how it sort of like breadcrumbs you a little bit?
It has a similar scene of kids being taught what they're taught in elementary schools. It's like, well, you need to know how the world works at that age. So,
that's another story that I'm sure, many people would rather read than Ajin or Ajin. Because Kuro's great.
That's one first.
Kuro's great. And if you haven't checked that out, check it out.
Check out
our
Kuro.
old video. Check out our old Kuro video. Pretty great too.
Yeah, we'll have a curator.
A Kuro-rator.
Yeah, I thought about it, but
Yeah. It's not just that. It's just it's also that like
I don't know if in high school then you get told about like
like when they're 17.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they know. Like, I'm sure they know. It's just like, how textbooks in like you reach a certain grade level and you have to just like learn this. Like all 6th graders have to learn like a specific
sixth
thing.
graders.
No, but I'm sure they know. Like they all have been raised because they became a thing when they were born. So they've been raised with these things around. So I'm sure they're aware. It's just they're being taught like the whole history behind it.
I'll say I can't recall a single time where someone reading the exposition of a plot has felt satisfying to me.
Yeah,
from a textbook, just reading as
Mm-hmm.
Demons, which maybe get them. Are there bored students? Are they they don't care about the demons in class?
I don't think in this story there was,
because I think that would make more sense if they're in high school and they're being taught about demons. It's just like, I know
hilarious.
this.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, they were all into it. They were like, kill them. Like,
I guess if there was an age limit where we don't tell people about these things until you hit this age.
Yeah, everybody was excited, and there was one kid who was in class, and he was like, "Oh, so I'll bet I'll get a big reward if I catch one of these Ajin. Maybe I'll get $1 million if I turn one in." And then the teacher tells him no, it's not how that works. And that's another thing. It felt like it's one thing to have a lesson about these demons, but then it felt like the teacher was telling them things that you would only need to know to set up this story. Like it wasn't necessarily a history of these things. It was exposition. And it was like, yeah, there's only, 40 something of them and 2 are in Japan and the 2 in Japan. It's like,
which would be fine if they didn't, well, it wouldn't be fine. It'd be like, oh, okay, they had to do this exposition part.
Yeah.
But then they explain it more naturally later when the situation comes up. So it's like, well, it's like you didn't even, that's where it's like, well, how to do it where you don't have to do it awkwardly like that because you did it here. So what was the point of this part?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how or why that happens. anyway, they're in class, and I guess the twist is that the teacher sets up like anybody could be an Ajin. Like they don't harm humans, and they're not necessarily a threat, and so they're immortal. They can theoretically live forever. Nothing can kill them. But once we discovered them, because they weren't really a threat, we just kind of started living together in peace. They're not really a threat to us, and we're not really a threat to them. So it was a bigger deal when I was a kid, but 40 some years later, it's just a normal Monday.
Yeah, that's good storytelling. I just don't like the way it's told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that didn't make sense, then, did it?
But I mean,
like that
good
part,
story.
that part
Well,
is interesting, and it does incorporate like, yeah, it was a big deal. Now it's not, but then that should have been told differently.
Yeah.
It's only been, how old are they? Do we know?
17.
17. So it's only been 17 years, because they started around the time when they were born. That's what he said.
Oh.
So there's
Either
like
way.
adult ones, like, so everyone has a gene, like that's
I
what
don't
we
know.
don't know
an
yet.
Ajin?
Yeah, I was gonna.
Ah.
And it's not necessarily and we find out later, it's not necessarily, they're so fixated on these people being monsters, which I don't know. It might sound like I'm nitpicking, and I'm really not. Like, I want to be honest about the series that we read and how I feel about them, and they're just things that for me personally.
No,
like,
this is I love when this situation comes
I know
up.
you do. They just bother me. Like, we've read so many other series where things, I don't know, where there is a more valid reason in this world, in this story, for them to be, called monsters and to be treated a certain way. No one can see
But if part of-
Jin. No one can see that black mummy demon thing.
If part of the exposition is, oh, they're harmless.
Yeah, and all they can do, they're harmless. They still look exactly like humans. The
So-
only thing they can do is regenerate.
So yeah, where you're like, oh, like, okay, if they just appeared recently, it's like, okay, I get there. That goes back to the whole X-Men problem, which is like no one would call them freaks. They're all supermodels who can like shoot lasers from their eyes.
Yeah,
I mean, to be-
maybe
to be-
Beast, but
Beast, no,
Beast is hot.
I knew you were gonna say that, dude. I knew you were gonna say that.
Exactly. In the real world, Beast has a fan base.
Yeah, Beast
Yeah.
is
That's a,
Really? Really?
Beast is Beast, dude.
He's a beast.
So
He's a
that's that's just a
beast.
whole nother thing I have to deal with later. But go ahead.
That's it, right? Okay, if like so superficially, all these are just people who can regenerate, and instead of being like, oh, this is the most valuable resource, like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is gonna change like human lifespans.
Yeah.
Instead it's like, what a freak. Oh, that guy who can't die. What a weirdo.
Yeah, and they don't do anything. It's not like Tokyo Ghoul where they're like actually harming humans.
And they have to.
Yeah, and they have to in order to survive. And
So,
people know about them.
Fundamentally, the two
that's
things
when you call
can't
them
work.
freaks. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are freaks.
Also, the guy that they're calling a freak isn't even a demi-human. He's just a regular kid.
He has dyed hair.
And
Yeah.
smiley face badges.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, in our society, being happy is a freak.
yeah, being happy is freaky.
Freaky.
Look, I guess that's something that kind of bothered me. And like I said, no one can see them. So to everybody else, they're just these normal looking people who can regenerate. Just how they've come to accept that that there's nothing biologically that makes these things. Okay, let me try.
They
to
are
explain it.
valued for experiments, though, so that is why there's a bounty on their head.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my thing is like, if in this world they've already ruled out that biologically this thing isn't passed on, and you get that because of how they treat these Ajin families, they don't
So there
go
becomes
after-
there's no stigma for being associated, even though they're like, okay, well in the real world there'd be stigmas for much less.
So which that would mean that if they as a society have decided that it isn't a gene that gets passed down, and the only other thing it can be is something that gets awakened in somebody through some sort of external source. So I just don't know, like, I don't know, like, why do they slap the word monster and they've, I don't know, it's so stigmatized. It just seems like it doesn't track. A lot of it doesn't track.
The answer would be because this had a very awkward and rough setup.
Yeah.
And I don't think that those questions like that were thought out. I think it was like, okay, so they're outcasts, they're born with these abilities, and you're a freak if you have it, but I mean, people like I don't think social implications were thought through.
Yeah, it just does feel like, I don't know, like some things don't add up. But
I mean, it's not nearly as bad as the X-Men, though. I'll say that.
I mean,
That person who can control the weather, like a god.
Yeah.
What a weirdo.
Yeah. Put him in the countryside.
Yeah.
Where no one will ever have to see him again.
Yeah. Oh my god, those superhuman bodybuilders who like project energy from their fucking dicks.
Yeah. There's literally an X-Men who just looks exactly like an angel, but with like a six pack and he's shirtless.
Yeah, I love that. The one they chose as a centerpiece for the movies, which was like the guy who is just an angel is a freak, not worshipped.
Yeah, no, and he had to like cut his wings off.
Yeah,
like
that was crazy.
With the cheese grater.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It was a cheese grater, huh? Yeah. Rough. Anyway, so yeah, the one thing that they do say about these creatures, these monsters, these freaks, is that like there is a voice, or they can through emitting this sound, they can like paralyze your body. But then they go through so many steps. It's like this story feels like it's fighting with itself all the time.
They chose two separate beginnings to put in the first chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the school beginning and then the chase beginning. And they both establish the setting.
And the same thing. And also with the sound thing, like it's working against itself, because it's like, be careful, because the Ajin, they can't really harm you, but the one thing they can do is they can emit this sound that will paralyze you. And then another character will come up, or somebody else will say like, well, actually it doesn't paralyze you. And actually it's not even a threat to your body at all. Actually, it doesn't do anything to you. No long lasting effects. It's actually not even that bad. And if you know the person, or if you've seen the person, or if you know that they're an Ajin, then it actually doesn't even freeze you for that long. But, and it's just like, why? Why can't you?
Because it was a thing like, oh, that's a cool way of incorporating the vampire paralyzing stare.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's for something. I like when stories do that, but then they'll be like, and also don't worry about it at all. Oh.
Yeah, we've seen this in the animal kingdom before. It's like, it's like this and this, and it's like, okay, like make it a thing or don't make it a thing, I don't know.
I think it was trying to, powers with limits are more interesting. But not if you're like, you're gonna immediately kind of undercut it with like all these qualifiers right off the bat.
Yeah. Show that maybe through the story later.
Which you then proceed to do.
Yeah, they explained it twice and then they show it.
Yeah, and then they show it.
Yeah, they say, show, don't tell, but how about don't show and tell?
I like that.
Oh, okay.
We can start, maybe we can keep that and we can put it in our book about screenwriting.
Oh, yeah.
And about writing your own manga, which is going to be on sale
tomorrow.
Yeah, we need to get on that. We need to figure out an idea for one, and we need to get to making it by tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we've really put that off for a while.
We got a lot of work to do. So yeah, he's in class and the teacher gives him all that exposition. Class ends and he's walking home with his friends, and he realizes all these things that he has to do, how much pressure is on him because he's going to be a doctor, and this and this and that. And he's so distracted by everything that he gets hit by a truck. Yeah.
Truck John strikes again.
Yep. Strikes
That's
again.
the thing of like, just make it something different. Like, right, like it's a stereotype now.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Make it a piece of, I found an interesting bit of trivia about in China. So I don't know if it's the same in Japan, but like, because it's actually more expensive if they survive. Because then you have to pay for all their medical bills. So it's very common for them to just back up and kill the person if they run them over.
Well, I mean, on one hand, it's like, don't do that. But on the other hand, it's like,
I don't know. Do you know?
I mean, I kind of get it. I get it. I just won't do it. But I don't do it. I don't know why. For all the stories that start with someone getting run over, like why don't they like include that little bit of like interesting thing of like just seeing them like back up and like hitting them again? Yeah. Because they're like, I don't want to have to pay for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything different. And I don't necessarily.
I don't want to pay for that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily even mind that he got hit by a truck. I mean, I'm not completely desensitized to that yet. But it just leads us into the reveal that he is an Ajin and that he can regenerate.
Like, it would have been cooler if, like, his mom, like, killed him or something.
Oh, why would she kill him?
I don't know.
Yeah, that
seems
kind of
like
came
a
out of
cold-
nowhere.
No.
It'd be
No.
cooler if his mom killed him.
Because it would be like a different way to, like, progress the story instead of just getting hit by a truck.
That would be a cool way of establishing like the way people react to it. If it was discovered and the mom immediately like goes to kill him, because
that
it's
would've
like
been cool.
Because the mom is like she's cold. Like,
I
they do
didn't-
that flashback of, like, the puppy. Like, the puppy dying, and she's like, oh, it was a defect. I'm gonna have to go complain at the store.
Oh yeah,
Like, a
yeah.
defect? Like, it.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
And then again, she's just like, I
that was
don't-
some blood on the track shit.
That was a blood on the track shit, and then the cops come, and then she's like, oh, my son, and she just says his name. She's like, I can't believe he got in this house. I'm like,
It was at
and
that
even
point
the
that I felt like she was
sisters,
covering for
too.
him.
if there was like a
The
thing-
sister's for sure covering for him. I feel like.
I don't think she likes him very much.
Okay. Cody, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I think it's like she doesn't like him, but I don't think she wants him to die.
No, she doesn't want him to die. I didn't say the mom wanted him to die, but they just don't care that much. Now,
Yeah,
specifically.
Since they discovered the truth.
Yes.
it would have been a cool way to set up like anything about like are you like you need to like rat on a family member if they're told, or like then you'll become like a target or something, or showing like a more like authoritative like system on it that like there's like a lot of pressure to like to like expose people like that. But it seemed like people were just like, oh, they're one of those. Get them out of here.
Get him.
Yeah.
I don't even want. Oh my god, they just don't die.
Yeah. Monsters.
Gross.
Get them away from my children. Get these regenerating people away from my children.
That's the only way they can is if they die. Like, how many opportunities are they getting to die on a day-to-day? I may guess.
See, that was cool.
Well, we all
have
I
opportunities.
really like that in a story. And this is what you said, Cody. I mean, maybe it's not good storytelling, but it's a good story, but it's a bad telling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the way it's
Yeah. The idea that you don't know that the only way to find out that you're going to be whether you are one of these things or not is by dying. That is cool in and of itself.
What chapter
You
0 opens up with.
because you can get into
I
like
would have loved chapter
a lot
0.
of cool concepts where people are so desperate to be one that they'll like kill themselves.
Yeah,
and, like,
Mhm.
or
people-
just to find out the mystery of like, are they or aren't they?
Yeah, some
drives them crazy.
Killing people, like murders happen because I thought they were an Ajin.
yeah, you could have cults
Yeah.
devoted to like we're going to awaken you.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
See, yeah,
It's a lot of it's a great setup.
It's a great premise.
Yeah, it's just that's why it hurts when you're reading,
Yeah.
especially in the beginning. You're like, not only are you like kind of hinting at the ways you could have done it, but then you don't.
Do it.
man.
And, like there's a lot of implications that aren't explored.
Yeah, yeah. That just
We'll call
made
it the
me-
X factor.
Yeah.
When there's a group that's supposed to be prejudiced against, and you're like, but why?
Yeah. That's I gotta remind me because I will forget.
Yeah. What's it called?
The S factor for because they're superhuman.
Freaking
What?
I thought it was the F.
X.
F?
X-Men.
Cody,
The
stop
X
talking
gene.
about your ex, dude. Jesus. Oh, the X-Men. Oh, I completely misunderstood you. I'm sorry. Don't look at the ground. You make it worse.
My God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That was a funny bitch. that was hilarious.
Oh. Anyway,
Really got me.
and I'm sorry.
That was crazy, dude. That was crazy.
I said
That
I'm
was
sorry,
loco.
and we're moving on.
I thought Mehgan was loco.
She is loca.
Woo!
Yeah,
Woo!
Yeah, double down on it.
You're gonna be a great wine mom.
Yeah!
After he gets hit by the truck and regenerates in front of everybody, he is immediately in a new world where he doesn't know who he can trust. His friend from class was like, I'll help you. And then he flashes back to his friend asking his teacher
And
about
I
a
didn't
reward.
like this either. It was like immediate, like he probably hasn't talked to him in like years.
Oh, I hated that.
And then he's just like, hey, can you come help me right now? He's like, yeah, I'm already packing a bag. Let's go. I'm like, what?
See, yeah.
Like there wasn't any type of pushback. Like you know, you called me a freak for years, but you know, I always have your back. Like none of that. It was just like an unspoken, like, hey, come meet me by the tree.
You could have had like a couple establishing shots of like their relationship.
Yeah,
and,
like I shouldn't have like pushed you out.
There was a couple shots of them like fishing.
Well, there was that, but not like not them like bonding or being together, like going back to being friends.
But there is a way, like just like did they stay in contact with each other? And then if it was those things, because I don't know, I've like had that situation where it's just like, oh, you're gonna move across the country, okay, and then like we'll meet up like every couple of years, and
no, but he's there. He's been there. He just doesn't.
His mom told him not to be friends with him. His mom, because there was this whole big moment when they were bonding, when he was like, hey, I memorized your number, so I don't have to put it in my phone, or if I lose my phone, like I memorized it. And he's like, oh, that's crazy. Why would you do that? He's like, because you're my friend. You're my best friend. And then he goes home and his mom's like, delete his number.
Mm-hmm.
Your dog was a defective.
See? Yeah, she's horrible.
I like calling a dog defective.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, okay, this is a psycho. Defective. It died. It's defective. That's why I'm like, is she Ajin?
No, I don't think so.
Defective meaning like it's not an Ajin dog?
Oh, you know what the setup is? An Ajin dog. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
Very similar to the setup of Highlander. I forgot.
This series was similar to Highlander.
The power system.
In what way?
Did you guys see Highlander? I know you didn't.
No.
But the only way you find out you're an immortal, Highlander is just where the guy's from, by the way. There's no reason to shoot. You find out you're immortal when you die. So, but someone could live their whole life and just they'll die at like the age of 90, and then they're just stuck being 90.
Oh.
Or if someone dies as a kid, they'll wake up and they're like, I'm gonna be a kid forever unless another immortal kills me. So
both would suck.
But there's no way to know until you die. There's no like someone like might be able to, another one might be able to like, I think they're it, but I'm gonna have to kill them to be sure.
Yeah.
And
then I have to kill them to observe the power.
There was another show that dealt with immortality in a really cool way. I'm not gonna say the name of the show because I want to talk about this moment without ruining it. So if you know, then let me know in the comments. But it's a show about these people that get superhuman abilities.
Oh, Seinfeld.
Yes. And there's one member of this group who seemingly doesn't get any powers. All of his friends have all these cool abilities. Kramer. And he's, running around and he's like doing his best. Yes. Seinfeld meets Sky High.
That is not a bad idea.
I like Sky High.
That's pretty good. Sky High was solid.
Sky High's a really good movie.
It's a really fun movie.
No, it's super good.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
It's like anime. It's like an anime. It's like, yeah.
I could see that.
No, I don't know why I said that.
That
was a stretch.
Premise that it's like kind of wholesome. It's like Spy Kids, in a way.
It's definitely more Spy Kids than anime.
Yeah, but so
Kids.
The whole Hi Kids, which is
Hi Kids.
Yeah.
Oh, I said that. My hero is Sky High, the anime.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so
that's why you said that. You didn't just make that connection to redeem it?
No. I've said that on the podcast, I feel like. And we've talked about Sky High before.
We definitely have. It's come up every time heroes come up. I think Sky High.
Sky High's up there, dude. It really is.
Yeah, it really is.
So anyway, everybody gets powers except for this one guy. And he's doing his best. In the whole series, you think like, man, he must have just not got powers. Maybe something happened to him and he just didn't get affected. So he's just following everybody around the whole series. He's doing everything he can to help. And then at the very end, in the season 1 finale, he has this big moment and he gives this big speech and he talks about how he didn't get any powers, but he still wants to do whatever he could do to like help. So he sacrifices himself. And then you find out that his power the power he got was immortality. But like, how would he have known that? The whole series, the whole first season, like, how would he have known that?
Mm-hmm.
And he finds out in that last moment. And it doesn't feel like a cop-out. It doesn't feel like something that they just threw in at the end. It feels like they had that planned intentionally. Because there are little moments where things will happen. And you're like, well, that's kind of weird. But it's just so well done. And so like playing with immortality in that way too. And not knowing till you die could be just, it's like there's so many possibilities to play with that.
There was,
I
don't know, it's too much, but there was this story where like this group of superheroes that got their power from a meteorite. They get like abducted by the villain.
Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt. And one of them, who's like the heavy fighter, like he's the only one who keeps his powers. Yeah, it was Babe, Pig in the City. Babe too. And like only one of them keeps their powers, and the rest are like, oh, that guy could fly, now he can't. They're like stuck in this maze, and then you find out that like that guy never got powers in the first place.
You know, it's so funny. We might have just invented a game that you can play at home with your friends. It's called telling your friends about a story while they constantly pitch different movie titles,
and then you have to incorporate
it into the movie that you're explaining to them.
Yeah, so all the pigs get kidnapped by like the evil farmer, and then like one of the pigs didn't have powers. You find out the rest. Like a super pig, a fast pig.
Yeah. It's a fun game. Anyway,
I think immortality is like the best power you could have.
Absolutely, no one wants to die.
Yeah.
No, I mean, just like as a superhero team too. Like, I mean, we're not talking about superheroes, but
you know what? In One Punch Man, there's a character that I don't think maybe he showed up. Yeah, he showed up in the second season, but like he gets a lot more focus in the manga. Called Zombie Man, and his all it is he can regenerate. And then he just has a shotgun and an axe, and you just see like the way he fights is he just like keeps going at them, and like by the end of the fight, just like he's fighting like immortal vampires, and they're just all like hacking each other apart, trying to like out immortal the other one.
Interesting.
Like Hulk versus Wolverine.
Yeah.
It also depends on your regen
wins.
ability,
Hulk
how
doesn't.
fast you can regen.
It's so
and
just throw them.
And what we learn about like how the Ajin regenerate versus how maybe let's say Wolverine will regenerate, because Wolverine in Hulk versus Wolverine,
The Ajin versus Wolverine.
the Ajin versus Wolverine, the Hulk ripped Wolverine apart, and the only way Wolverine could get back together was by getting all of his body parts that the Hulk buried all over the world back together.
The Hulk's like,
yeah.
I like the new thing. Oh, I'm sorry.
But the Ajin can sprout new body parts.
which is cool.
It's like just the bigger chunk of you is the one that regenerates.
So the way they explain it is like it's anything at your core. Your core is what triggers your regen. And so like if it's something that's too far away from your core, then it will just sprout a new limb as opposed to healing itself. It'll just grow a new thing.
Right. And
So
then,
at its core,
Keep going.
did you have?
it's a very simple way of regeneration.
There we go.
There we go.
You
You just had to have anything.
Yeah,
It's
I know,
like-
I got it.
Ajins aren't human in the sense that they have a core and their head isn't technically a part. Like their brain isn't technically the part of their core essence.
No,
so you
because that
could
guy,
get decapitated,
yeah,
but it'll
Right.
like come back, and that's what makes them like less like different than human.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's also
'Cause
interesting
if a
is
human loses their head,
we'll
yeah.
be fine for a couple, I think like a chicken for a couple hours.
Well, it's like active for a couple seconds.
yeah, you get 5.
Mm-hmm. That's
What do
why
we-
they
what,
made
I-
like.
what do we know about being active for a couple seconds? We don't know anything about that. Right, Cody? Right,
Cody's
Cody?
the most active.
Actually, no, I'm not.
Oh, I tried to have a
anymore.
bonding moment, but
What? Wait, what? Well, I think this is 3 different
yeah, maybe. But
implications.
I was saying like in the streets. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but that'd be a lie.
Oh, Cody, come on.
No, I'm
on the wall.
I'm a couch potato for the past. I've become. I don't do anything anymore,
I like potatoes.
dude.
Cute.
I've been getting into potato fries, sweet potato French fries.
Oh
I thought
yeah.
you said potato fries. I was like, that's what fries are. They're potatoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's interesting about this type of regeneration, though, is that it doesn't necessarily seem like it might be coming from the human. It looks like we're getting shots of this like twisted black ghost mummy figure, and it looks like through they're either mentally connected or through touch or it comes out of them from within them,
Mhm.
and it's able to heal them that way. It's this separate entity that is inside of them that is allowing them to have these abilities.
Which I like because it does like, it makes you think like, are they like chosen? Like at a certain age, like was he always an Ajin or was he chosen by that ghost black thingy?
did he become a host?
Did he become a host like the other lady? She has like a name for it, so it's just interesting.
And that's what. So yeah, we meet 2 other characters too. We see one throughout the first volume, and these are the characters that I really like. The one who was the test subject that is being experimented on throughout the first couple chapters, and this strange figure that shows up at the, I guess, crime scene that these two detective characters who we meet that pop a lot of mints.
Tosaki and Uzumi.
Yeah. They're kind of, they're the cops that come in and tell the other cops to get off the case.
Yeah,
that
get
they're
off
on
my
the,
back.
Yeah,
You
they're
had
on
a-
the case now.
You had an issue because I think the monster detective is still the weirdest quirk I've seen.
Yeah.
But like the mint quirk, does it kind of just feel like the laziest quirk to
Well,
you?
it just kind of
Because it is like they have to have something.
Yeah,
They have to have a fresh take.
They have to have a first take. It just feels like every
That was a mint
does
joke,
every
right? Yeah.
detective have to have like a quirk? Can he just be a detective? Can his quirk be that he's a good detective?
No, he likes mints.
Yeah, like there's always one. There's like one who's like addicted to toothpicks or has got mints or
And
like
he's like, I'm quitting smoking.
yeah, always. And then you'll like later on, like you'll see like his pack of mints or his pack of toothpicks laying around, and you're like, oh, was that detective here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like
Cinnamon toothpicks.
cinnamon toothpicks. Was that detective here again?
Yeah, but he exclusively uses cinnamon toothpicks. He's quitting smoking after the baby just came in.
He had a baby. When did he have a baby? That's the
I
biggest
wonder if
mystery
it
of all.
smells like cinnamon.
Maybe
Cinnamon.
the baby.
I'm getting Apple Jacks when I get home.
Yeah.
I would love Apple Jacks, dude. You guys want to
Speaking of
get
Jacks,
Apple Jacks? Speaking of Jacks, look, these cops get
the
there.
other detective has a habit of throwing Jacks.
Okay, and that's not true. That's not true.
That would be a good quirk for a detective. He loves jumping.
Yeah, every
He
time that
loves
like right
Jacks.
before he has to like investigate a crime scene, he's like, "Hold on, give me a second." And then he's
And
like,
someone goes, "What's that
Yeah.
guy doing?" It's
"That's how you roll Jacks."
it's his special technique to get
Yeah.
into the zone,
Yeah.
to get into the mindset of the crime.
Yeah, and then he'll like scoop them up, and then there'll be like two left, and he's like, "There were two people here."
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they're like, how did you know?
Jacks don't lie. So they call me Detective Jack.
That's not
Ooh.
bad. That's his catchphrase.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two
Like,
detectives
are
there.
you jacking me off? And
Oh.
then,
That's his catchphrase.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's his catchphrase.
Are you jerking me around?
Well, jacking me off.
Are you
Jacks.
jacking me around?
Sure.
You
You want to get the
jacking
word.
me.
You
Are
wanna
you
get the word
jacking
right?
me
around.
around off?
Yeah, you.
Round off.
Okay. We've lost Megan. She's gone down a pun spiral. The two detectives. If I have to start this sentence one more time,
Oh, how about Uzu Makima?
See, you set
it's
it
not bad.
up.
It's not bad. The two detectives, they're there, and we learn that they're telling the other cops like, "Hey, this is kind of like they're the cops that are like, hey, this is our jurisdiction now. Get out of here." But
Mhm.
when they're at the crime scene, they see a guy. He's wearing a little paperboy hat. He's wearing a little newsy hat,
Yeah.
and he's an old man, and he's and they're terrified of him. And there's another cop there who's like saying, "You're telling us the truth about the Ajin, right? You're giving us all the information you have because you higher ups like to hide stuff." And he goes, "No, I'm telling you the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God." And then he like walks away. And he's like, "As long as he's not a variant Ajin," which was just like, okay.
Or as long as they don't find out that we're.
I don't know if he is yet. I mean, she is.
He has
yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
He kind of has to be, but she said, "Thank God he wasn't there in the hospital."
Oh.
So that was,
I thought that the second one that came in was his.
no, that's the paperboy hat guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, who are we talking about?
The other detective.
Mhm.
Oh, the guy detective.
yeah, he might not be. Now that I think about it.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
anyway, during all this time,
Yeah, our
Kay
boys
and
on the
Kai-
run with his friend.
yeah,
They're on a motorcycle.
yeah, they're going for it.
Like a cop comes after him. He gets taken out.
Yeah, which was hilarious. He's like, if I turn you in, my daughter's gonna think I'm real cool.
That's what I mean about the writing. It's just like, what?
I need to do this for my daughter. Okay, you don't understand what it's like to have a teenage daughter. It's rough.
Yeah,
I need to do
come home. I
anything.
need to come home with Ajin blood on my hand.
Yeah, in
She
order
respects me.
She respects me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So she stops, fucking that kid from her English class.
yeah,
You know.
and her math class.
And her math class. Yeah. Cody didn't like it until the end of math class. And then they meet another guy on a motorcycle. Like, the point is, everybody finds out because of the news starts broadcasting it, starts announcing it, which, again, the teacher in class moments prior made it seem like it was very normal for these, like, the Ajin are rare, but that they had this, like, sort of, like, amicable relationship.
If
or-
there was a secret announcement, similar to the John Wick thing of everyone on there,
Yeah.
of like if outwardly it was presented as these aren't a threat, but then there was like a you know, like if when one was discovered, like, oh, we're gonna like they're captured and used.
Yeah.
That would make more sense.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like, yeah, like we don't, you can't just turn one in for money.
And that's
someone being like, I'm going to turn it in for money.
And that's what Chapter 0 does so well, because this guy's not being broadcasted because, I mean, no one saw him, but people did see him and they found evidence. And it was just like a group of people that were like, yeah, we found you out. It wasn't like all across Tokyo being, you know, put on the television. Like, it felt so much more real.
Yeah, like a man on the run.
Yeah.
Just doing whatever he can do to survive.
Yeah, I mean, I
Not that he
guess
has
it was
to.
like everyone saw it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but that just Chapter 0 sounds so much more interesting, and like it sets up the world and the story so much better. The motorcycle guy, they have their interaction too. All these aren't necessarily really important. What is cool about the motorcycle guy interaction, though, is that our main character, who is an Ajin, he realizes that in order for him to heal his body, and I do think that this is cool, in order for him to heal his body, again, it has to do with his core being affected or something at his core. So if he breaks his leg or breaks his arm, it's not going to heal. So he basically has to kill himself.
I like that
I
part.
like that a lot.
I would have liked if they showed the
Yeah.
I thought it was cool like on its own to like show him like put the knife up and then it kind of cuts to it. But it is like I would have liked to see him like die and then like his body resets.
Yeah. I love that device. I think that's really cool. But again, yeah, they don't, in the first volume at least, utilize it a ton. But in the live action movie trailer, it feels like they do it nonstop. But yeah, so that happens. And then they're going to this safe house that his friend knows about in the mountains.
Yeah, where can a Ajin find lodging?
That was good.
That was good.
That was good.
Yeah.
And you had to have wrote that down.
Yeah.
I did.
That was good.
Yeah.
I wrote it down over here.
Where
Yeah.
is it? Oh my, she did. She wrote it down.
Yeah, that felt like a written down one, and it was really good.
Thank you.
So yeah, in the meantime, one of the detectives is, and they keep saying like, oh, as long as this kid's not a variant, as long as this kid's not a variant, we get a cut scene from the old man in the like newsy hat freeing the other guy from this facility where he was being experimented on and tortured, and there's just dead scientists.
I
dead
like
doctors.
that splash page.
I love that splash. I love those characters. The guy has like a thing where he like picks his lip or pulls his lip or something, and he's got this little tick, and it's just that little touch to character that I really like. And their relationship, their mystery that surrounds them is like they're way cooler than what's happening with the main character and his friend. Sorry, I blacked out right now.
No, that's the weird place that this sits, which is it's like it's not like it didn't have a cool way of introducing all the, and it's not even like it didn't do it.
Yeah.
It just also did other things that like you're like, well, why didn't you open on that note? Why didn't you open on that note?
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you make an imaginary chapter that set up the story better?
Yeah, and just to kind of get through what else, just the little that's left is that it cuts also to now our main character's sister who's in the hospital, and the detective comes in there to talk to her, and she tells her the story of the dog, which we saw earlier, but now we get the added information that he was speaking weird that day. And it was that day that the Ajin first came out of him. And we also get the reveal that it isn't just this Slenderman entity that's just like lurking in the shadows, that it is something that comes out of him. I don't necessarily understand their relationship. I don't need to, the Ajin with the human.
Mm-hmm.
But it does seem like they are separate entities, and that you can use one as like a conduit to like see through or to like experience things through.
But like also it's kind of like an echo of you.
Oh, okay. But okay.
I like the introduction to that when like it was when it came out of him.
Mm-hmm.
I like that too, by the way.
Where because he's like, I'm gonna get you, and then like it's like saying it basically is just like echoing everything he was saying.
Oh right, yeah.
And then like it was unclear if like, oh, are you like inhabiting both, or it is just like your persona comes out and it's like it's gonna enact your will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was a really, really cool moment. And we also get this line of dialogue from the two characters that we really like, who are also Ajin, that, he is we assume not only a variant, but they have a line where they mention that he had an awakening or something at a very young age, which seems to be not the norm. So they're assuming that he's going to be more powerful than both of them are.
Because he should be more familiar with it. Or
Yeah.
Also, they call it tonic immobility.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which is what you can do to sharks if you like touch their nose. But
Really?
Yeah. That's when you like if you touch a shark on the nose, it'll just like go numb and it'll like go on its belly. But that's because you basically put it to sleep. They call it tonic immobility. I like to call it chronic immobility though.
It's just kind of like sonic immobility.
That was pretty on the nose.
Okay, guys.
All right, yeah.
Wow. Is that real though? That we got the shark thing, but that there are creatures or something that you can because they do say in the manga that there are in the animal kingdom there is.
Well, I mean, yeah, they say like superior beings can subdue.
Yeah,
but it's like I mean, I think we're superior to sharks, but
whoa, I might have to cut that out. I really might.
That was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You can't say that.
Try saving yourself from that.
It's something about sharks' noses are like they have all those sensory things. So if you put your hand on it, it kind of like it puts like it's not painful for them either. But it's just like it's this thing of like nature had no idea that humans would touch a shark's nose.
Yeah.
So sharks had no defense against being touched on their. It's like.
Yeah.
And other animals wouldn't be like, I'm going to go up to that shark and touch it on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that thing too, where if a shark comes at you, fucking put your hand on its nose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right? Crazy.
Yeah, the people would punch him.
Gouge your eyes.
Yeah.
Gouge eyes out.
Yeah, it's just, it's interesting, and I hope I
get attacked by a shark. Oh, like, yeah.
Is that what are you doing?
I'm clawing its eyes out.
Okay.
What did you...
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, that was, yeah.
Well, no,
if I get attacked by a shark, I'll just claw its gills.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Claw its
Both
gills.
of them.
Right.
One gill, and then the other.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean...
It was a weird manga.
It was a weird manga. The end of it, though, is not bad. It's pretty good. We get that reveal. There's an Ajin on Ajin fight, and we see the one who was
Very
tested
cool.
on, closing his eyes on a park bench outside while his Ajin is fighting.
Which is why I thought it was a shared consciousness, and he was like, I just have to black out. Because I think it's in my head it's like overlap, or it's like both eyes. So he's like, I got to if I just shut this off, all I'll see is what it sees.
And to be clear, there are things like this, and even you explaining it. I really, really do like this.
I like the fights too.
System. Yeah, yeah. The fight was cool, and the reveal that the female detective was also an Ajin, and but she seems to be one that is trying not to draw this out because she has a line of dialogue where she says like, I haven't seen this guy in a long time.
Kudo. She calls her Ajin like Kudo-chan or something. Cute.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about, and this is 100% because like. The reason, and you got to do what you got to do. Mehgan read chapter 0 because of where she read it. And look,
That's fucking wild that he would do that.
Oh, it's wild that I support manga and manga creators. No, see, if you would have done that, I would have just kept moving, and that I would have never said that.
Keep it moving.
But okay, you said that in the version that you read,
crazy.
That she calls her.
First of all, I look over the manga because artists
and I watched the anime.
Where'd you watch it?
It was from Netflix.
Okay,
I'll unashamedly tell you, I have other resources of watching things.
Well,
it's not like they get a fair cut.
We are a spectrum of.
Didn't Crunchyroll used all the money they got and they chose to make their own anime with that money instead of giving it back?
They produce other anime too that are pretty good.
Okay, but what?
My point is, and I wasn't even trying to call you out, and I had to set that up that way for what I'm about to say to make sense.
Wait
but then
until it turns out he did not.
But then you took it as a personal attack, and then we had to go on this whole tangent.
Because it's not the first time.
Well, it's not.
And it won't be the last time.
Not. Oh, it's not. You're not done.
Well, he kind of. I mean, to be clear.
Continue.
My point is, in the official version,
you had to see this is words I have no.
Just keep going. Just keep going. I want to hear it.
So you said in the version you read it, she calls her Ajin Kuro-chan, right?
Or Kuro, which means black.
Yeah. In the official,
it also means a great story.
It also does mean a great story. In the official English translation, she calls him Blackie.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was funny, but
but it's the same.
But it just feels like such a weird thing to say. Like, call him something else. Don't call him Blackie.
You know, and it's like Lovecraft gets so much shit for it.
Okay, well, I feel like I've never read Lovecraft, but I've heard, and I think it's a little different.
No, I'm starting to get mad because like the public perception of Lovecraft stories, I'm like, well, that's not. I mean, the point was that they were wrong. It's like if they have characters that take place in the 1940s act racist, and people are like, oh, he's racist. Like, well, that person who was racist in the story, they died a horrible death after discovering they were wrong about life, and people are like, he's racist.
Well, yeah, the writer is racist.
Yeah, because a lot of his stories will be the racist dies.
Yeah,
after discovering that.
Well, Cody, and you already know this, but a lot of people don't read.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't read, and a lot of people like to say that they read. And so how they do that, how they signal that is just by regurgitating the little things that they hear from books, which I think you guys should check out. Heroes Die, by the way.
You fucking asshole. You fucking piece of shit asshole. Oh my God. Do not.
I think you guys should check out Mistborn. I think you guys would really like.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. And then it got turned into a bigger thing. But yeah.
Gaslight Central. Are we on Gaslight Central?
Is it
right
Gaslight Central or is it the truth?
Are we on Gaslight Central?
You managed to offend both
I
of
smell
us very
gasoline.
Actually, I do too.
It's the truth.
It smells. Usually I
not
like the smell of
gaslight if it's
gasoline,
the
but
truth.
this time I don't like it.
Oh, a nice cup of gasoline to go with your charcoal, huh?
You know what's crazy is it smells like gaslight, even though with him it's gas heavy.
Are you guys back? Oh, we're back.
I'm just saying.
That it's gas heavy. I mean, it's so funny that that's like what brings you together, you know? Just this like, you guys are jubilant. Jovial.
Jubilant.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm hungry, dude. I can't think straight right now. Wow.
Okay.
Anyway, we're almost done.
We keep pausing during this Ajin episode.
Okay, now you got me back. You got me back. Okay.
You got me. You got me. I got you back.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So bad. Continue.
We're almost at the end. There's an Ajin fight and it's pretty cool. And they realize
I liked the bad guy basically like being like, oh, I wasn't prepared to fight. So they're like, oh, okay, that was like a scout one, and that's why the fight turned out that direction, because it's like he wasn't, you know, it's like establishing threats but still being like, oh, that's why that guy was easily defeated, and that's why.
Yeah. And we realize too that there's two of them, because while the one is fighting, like you said, the scout one, and ends up getting distracted by fighting with the detective, and the detective defeats the scout one. The girl, the sister, our main the character's sister, is gone because of the second one that was sent,
which was a solid comedy bit.
Yeah,
I thought where she's like, oh.
Damn it,
and it's such a like a close up of her face smiling. She's like, and I saved the kid. The kid's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, and also we didn't even mention there's like a runaway like girl that's like following the two main characters.
Well,
or like
she got saved. She saved. They inadvertently saved
one
her.
of the people hunting the main character. They also kidnapped a child.
Yeah.
And her clothes were ruffled up, and it was like, oh, that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, how dark is this story gonna get?
I think she's Ajin.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, they captured her first.
They did mention a woman. Oh no, that would be her. I remember the detective saying, like in the beginning, like, "Oh, you know, remember one being female or something." But
I got a little confused because they also then the sister also got kidnapped and was wearing very similar clothing. Like, is this like the timelines are different?
Well, yeah, it's also weird that, and then that's the interesting thing about those two characters, because the whole time we think that they're trying to help our main character or trying to help him discover his true power or awaken it, or they're going to give him a place of like security. They're going to give him a place away from all this danger, but then they like tie his sister up and put her in the trunk, and it's like, okay, these guys aren't good guys.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, he steals his friend's phone and he calls them, or they
leaves
call
him
him.
in a hut.
They
in
call
the woods.
him.
Yeah.
They call him.
They call his
And
best
they're
friend's
like-
phone, and he
Yeah.
answers.
And he answers and he's like, oh, and he knows his name? He knows
Well, they
that-
have his sister.
No, but
But
He-
they were calling the friend.
no. He knows the old man's name.
Did
Did he say that?
No.
Then they know his name. Yeah, they already
Yeah.
know his name.
Yeah.
Sato-san is the guy with the cap.
It was a very funny bit in the Looney Tunes modern cartoons where
Uh-huh.
like Lola answers, like Bugs calls her, and Lola answers the phone and goes, "Hi, Bugs." Like, how'd you know it was me? She's like, "I just answer the phone like that every time."
That's pretty funny.
I thought that was.
That's pretty funny.
I'm watching cartoons lately.
That's great.
Me too.
Cartoons are fantastic.
Hmm.
But yeah, and you know, that's kind of where the volume ends. He picks up the phone and he's like, I got your sister, and you know, meet me at this location, and I'm an Ajin too, and we'll, you know, whatever. These guys aren't good guys. They don't necessarily look like they're good guys because of how they're transporting his sister. The detective, the Ajin, we don't know if the other detective is or isn't. We don't know what's going to happen to his friend. That's the end of the first volume. As a whole, how did you guys feel about it after reading it? Where did it leave you?
Left me with questions more than like excitement.
Mm.
Because I just want to know what happens.
Mm.
And watching the anime, I wish it wasn't 3D. I mean, it doesn't look horrible. Like, it really doesn't look as bad as some 3D animes, but I just wish I could get the story through that medium versus maybe reading it.
Cody, what about you?
Yeah, I might give the second volume a chance because I'm like, I'm curious if I want to know like how it like if it progresses in like quality and stuff.
Mhm.
I'll probably just watch the live action because that looked like just a good action thing on its own.
Mm.
Yeah. I think what you said earlier, Cody, too, is that it's a story that has a lot of really, really good ideas and a lot of really, really interesting spins on, regeneration and these creatures and these monsters. There's a lot of cool concepts in here. I think not only in the first volume, at least, are they not really executed to their best, but also it does just unfortunately get off on such a rocky start that it is hard to, as a reader, especially with so many other great series out there, it is hard to like forgive it. I would say that although it isn't something that I will continue, I just don't think, no matter how good I hear it gets, it is something that I will continue. I do think that if anything that we've talked about has interested you, I do think it is a good series and it has good things about it. And I do think that, again, maybe this is just another series that just wasn't for me. But I wouldn't go so far as to not recommend this to people. If anything we've talked about sounded interesting to you, then this might be something that you would enjoy. It's not a bad series, just got off on the wrong foot, kind of, with me. But that's going to do it for our Volume 1 discussion on Ajin. Let us know your thoughts on the series. If you've read it already, how far you've gotten. Let us know if it gets better, things that you like or don't like about it. Or if you do decide to check it out based on this video, let us know that as well in the comments down below. We are not done yet, though. Now it is time for our wonderful, special, beautiful segment, the Wonder's Circle. The Wonder's Circle, of course, being the segment on our show where our beautiful, intelligent AI goes through comments that you've left on some of our previous videos. She reads them aloud to us and we respond to them. If you would like a comment read in a future Wonder's Circle, then all you have to do is leave a comment on this video or any of our previous videos. But with all of that out of the way, Volume 1-chan, can you hit us with the first comment, please?
This one comes from 305 Thief. And yeah, once again, continue with the Bleach volume reviews, TBH. Would love to see your reactions, LOL.
Like, I'm just going to say it, dude. It's, again, and I always say this, it's hard. You see a couple comments and it feels like the whole world is telling you that what those couple comments are telling you. But it does feel like we've been getting a lot of Bleach volume done requests, more than we've gotten for a volume done in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the system we have in place is on this video, any other video, just comment Bleach Volume Done if you really want to see it. The anime is coming back. I think it'd be awesome. I would probably be the most excited to do it. But how do you guys feel about it? What do you guys think?
I've been wanting to watch it. Read it obviously, but I've been wanting to watch all of it because the new anime does look like super sick, and I already like it enough to want to. So yeah, I'd be down.
I like the idea of just doing more series, like getting a bigger rotation.
Yeah, yeah. The anime is going to be amazing, by the way. I don't know if you guys are ready. It's going to be so amazing. I don't know if there's going to be a way for us to realistically catch up all the way by the time the anime comes out, but we can see how far we can get. Yeah. Anyway, let us know.
We'll see how far we can reach with Bleach.
We will see that. Leave a comment, Bleach Volume Done, in the comments down below. Volume 1, Sean, can you hit us with the next comment, though, please?
This one comes from Stuff Shit. Cody, you should read AOT Requiem. It is basically a fan-made ending which fixes a lot of the issues that people had with the manga.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna I want to talk about the Attack on Titan ending because I forgot that it was one of my favorite stories, and then again, I don't feel that that connection with stories the way people do. Where as soon as I stopped liking where the story was with the ending, I just went like, I'm done with the series. Mm-hmm. So I would like to talk about how just disappointed I was with that ending. Maybe in a solo live.
That's what I was going to say. You were talking about doing it in a solo live. So that's another thing you can comment down below. Give Cody some other ideas. I think that would be a great solo live too. Just, we'd obviously have to make sure that we, tag it, spoiler, discussion. But I think that'd be an awesome, awesome solo live. I think that'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let us know. Volume 1, Sean, can you hit us with a third and final comment, please?
This one comes from Rusty Shackleford. I 100% agree with Josh. I got 10 episodes in and got bored. Tried watching episode 1 again recently and couldn't finish it. LOL. It just doesn't draw me in like everyone else. I did read a couple of chapters of the manga, and I did enjoy it more, so I suppose I'll just read the manga and skip the anime.
This is a Demon Slayer.
Oh, but you don't agree with that anymore.
Well, I do agree with... So what I do think is interesting kind of about how that episode came out, and it now is a time capsule sort of my experience with the series. I felt that way, and that's one thing I hope that could be a takeaway for some people is that I felt that way strongly. And then it was at episode 19 where the show in my mind and even the world and the characters and everything shifted a complete 180. It became a completely different series. It was so well done, so good. It felt, and again, it is very shonen. It is very formulaic, but it felt different enough and unique enough. And in that episode, for the focus to be shifted to even different characters and everything, and for the characters that we know and love to have the moments that they had, I came around hard. So I think it's really cool that although I did feel that way and still do feel that way, if anybody else feels that way, Mr. Shackleford, I believe, maybe get to episode 19. And if you don't have a similar experience, then I think it's not for you. If you don't connect with Demon Slayer after episode 19, you're never going to connect with it. Mm-hmm. That's my thing.
It's also an incredibly deep investment.
Yeah, for sure. Which I understand if you don't want to do that. But we got a lot of comments where a lot of people I think felt similarly about it, which was kind of surprising. It always is.
There was a comment a little long that as an honorary mention.
Yeah.
Just saying that like Demon Slayer was like The Office.
Was it Demon Slayer's like The Office?
Oh, like Friends.
Yeah.
And I like if like viewing shonen as like sitcoms, because I'm like most sitcoms I don't.
I thought they were talking about. Were they talking about Demon Slayer or One Piece?
One Piece was like a Friends.
The pacing, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, people like The Office. I'm like, yeah, I didn't like it. People like Modern Family. Like, I don't. Did you watch 30 Rock? I'm like, no. Oh, okay. Like, well, sitcoms do this, yeah, but they don't have to.
Yeah, the argument is that like, which I do think is a good argument. At least in like helping explain it. more, make it more clear, is that like, you know, if you watch Friends to find out what happens with Ross and Rachel, you're not going to get relationship developments every episode. You tune in for the hijinks, you tune in for the jokes, you tune in for the shenanigans that happen along the way, and you get rewarded every now and then with a little bit of progression. And it is how a lot of sitcoms work because of syndication and, you know, being able to play episodes on TV in any order they want to play it in. And so like something about that argument did help it make a little more sense to me. But I guess I'm not really a sitcom guy either.
This is going to be the shonen gal situation.
Yeah, I mean, that I list.
Did you like The Office?
I thought The Office was fine. People love The Office, and I don't think it's bad at all.
I think it's bad.
I think it's like fine. I think I'll even say it's good, but I'm never gonna like profess my love for it. Like, I don't know. It's just like, it's okay. It's good. Same thing with like a lot of sitcoms, but I do think that, like shows that are technically sitcoms like Community, fantastic, amazing shows, but they kind of mess with the format of sitcoms.
The Chainsaw Man of sitcoms.
The Chainsaw Man of sitcoms is Community.
Yeah.
Yes. But anyway, that's it for the Winner Circle. We're still not done. We have one more thing to do before we go, and that is to thank our wonderful, beautiful, amazing, our spirit ghosts, but in a good way, our Patreon members. Thank each and every one of you for all of your support. Your support means the world to us. We can't say it enough. We can't tell you enough how much your support means to us. We love you, and greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to become a Patreon member or become a YouTube member, you can do that by clicking join or going to patreon.com/volume1pod. And by doing both, you'll get the same amount of perks for the same price, pretty much. And on Patreon, it's at our lowest tier. Access to our exclusive bonus Patreon podcast, Volume 1 Extra, and early access to all of our videos. So thank you for showing your support, no matter how you choose to show it. And again, if you'd like to become a Patreon member or a member, all you got to do is click join on this video or go to patreon.com/volume1pod. Guys, take it away.
Oh my God. That person, they couldn't be a Patreon member and now they're dead, but they're coming back to life as a member of the Algorithm Gang?
Oh my gosh, the Algorithm Ajin.
Yeah, that's right there.
They are totally undead and undeaded because they don't have. We are indebted to them if they are undead. Ajin Algorithm Gang.
And their YouTube personas are coming out of them. And they have the ability to just comment some sort of, what is that, a comma, a period, literally anything?
Literally anything. And it serves as a free tip to us because it helps the algorithm and it gives us money.
Oh my God, what a bunch of freaks.
Oh, they're human though.
Only human.
Freaky though, they are freaky.
They are freaky.
Thank you for showing your support no matter how you choose to show it, even if it's just by watching this video, liking this video, subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
I guess reviews on iTunes and Audible and stuff
always
like that.
forget. Always forget.
Give us reviews, please.
Yeah, we're
good ones.
Yeah, give us good ones.
Yeah,
we're trying to figure out a way to streamline all these.
If you're even thinking about a negative review, it's like, why?
Yeah, why?
Why even?
You can just DM us.
Yeah, you can just take out all your rage by DMing us. That's great.
DM us 1 stars, like don't put it on a...
You gotta say 1 star.
And leave us your 1-star review, but just in the DMs, though.
Not the official sites.
Yeah, no.
No, just the DM.
And so,
ones.
please, Spotify, iTunes, even Amazon Music now, I think. Right?
Well, we're on every Amazon thing now, too.
Every Amazon thing, and also, subscribe to the Volume 1 Highlights channel if you haven't already, and I'm going to start linking, I think, our Volume 1 Extra channel in the description below, too, so you can see everything else that we're doing.
Join the Discord, even though the link is expired.
It should be
Every
working
time.
now. Periodically, it stops working, and then it takes a while to get updated, but it should be working as of this recording, but we'll see. But, yes. The only thing left to do now is to get out of here on our outro that is always the same and never changes, which today is... Oh my God. I mean, we could all try to do that. That was a weird noise, but we could try.
That was my
Ajin.
core.
Oh, that was your core.
Um,
Let's see.
Ajin, I'll see. Ajin.
Ajin.
oh no!
Yeah, it's right on the edge of having potential.
Okay. Well,
Don't come back to life just because you can.
is that from that song?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Oh God.
I just know the parts, the main parts.
No.
I was wasted.
Yeah.
Oh, that
He
was on
says the first half of a lyric. You finish, you're like, oh, is that from the song?
Something about regeneration. Even though this manga,
Regeneration Nation.
sure. I mean, it's we have nothing else.
Regeneration Station.
Welcome to the regeneration
Duration Station.
Okay.
I'm your host, Ajin.
Yeah,
Can I get some tahine on my Ajin?
that's good too.
As an outro?
No, I mean in
Ajin
general.
time.
As an outro.
Oh,
That whole thing was good. As an outro, a bit long. Yeah, I'm being truthful. It's called being honest.
There's smoke, there's mummies. I guess we have to wrap this up.
I guess we have to wrap this up. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time,
I guess we have to wrap this up.
Almost had it.
Oh my gosh.
What?